Okay, so I'm Rob from Pioneer DJ UK, and I'm at DJKIT showrooms in Newbury filming a video for DJKIT.TV, and today I'm going to jump back to a product in our DJ range which is the XDJ AERO. We'd previously done a video on this in the showrooms before, just when this was launched, but today I'm going to try and show it in a different light. So a lot of the promotion that was done around the AERO when it was first launched was mainly focusing on the fact that this is a Wi-Fi system. You know, it was the world's first and the world's thinnest DJ system that incorporated Wi-Fi technology. So first ever time this was heard of in the DJ realm. But it's really not, in my opinion, the key selling point or really the main feature of this unit at all. What I'm going to try and show you today is exactly how I've been using the AERO, and what I think is the main draw and the main exciting factor about using this as your sort of home or mobile DJ system. Now, you can see we got a rekordbox icon, little logo up at the top there. This is the first rekordbox system that's truly portable, you know, really lightweight, durable, well built and easy to take around with you. And you can use it in a number of different ways, but probably the most beneficial to either the mobile DJ or the home DJ would be this method that I'm going to show you now. Storing all your music on this is a 500 gig hard drive, but you can use, you know, a terabyte hard drive or above that to store all of your files. So ideally for me, if I'm doing any mobile stuff, I don't want to have a laptop in the system. I don't want to have my MacBook that I use filled up with music that I'm only going to play on request. I don't want to take up the space on my Mac. So for me, it needs to be a hard drive system. So all of my music, all of that stuff that I've just mentioned, you know, the stuff that you're only going to be requested to play, the happy birthdays and the Christmas music and the pop music, that can all go on an external hard drive after it's been run through rekordbox, and then never really has to be touched again. Then all I need to take to the gig with me, or to the party, would be the AERO, my hard drive, and either my smartphone or a tablet, which I'm going to jump to in a moment. Now, this is all rekordbox analysed up. I can plug this into the USB port on the top of the AERO. And because it's a hard drive, it takes a moment for the AERO to read it. So if I choose, like in the twin CDJ setup, if I choose on the source select USB here, as soon as the AERO's actually read that the hard drive's connected, we can browse the entire music collection that I've got on there on this little screen here. So you can see there, anyone who's not familiar with rekordbox and the way it works, we've done an existing video on DJKIT.TV explaining it, so jump on that and have a search through that and see how the software works. There's also quite a few on Pioneer DJ Global YouTube channel, but it enables you to easily access your music and gives you a lot of quantized data while you're DJing as well, so a lot more accuracy and easy navigation and organization. But what you're seeing here is the pre-assigned search categories that I've set up in rekordbox. And if I jumped into playlists, I can see all of this commercial stuff that I wouldn't want on my laptop, instantly accessed on my hard drive. So I can load that up and play rekordbox analysed files directly from there. Very straightforward. Now, that's pretty cool, but for most mobile DJs, this isn't going to be sufficient, simply because the vast amount of music that mobile DJs tend to store requires a keyboard to search through, and requires a bit more visual display than what we're seeing on the AERO. Perfect for, you know, your bedroom DJ or your house DJ, but for anyone who needs a bit more control and a bit more navigation sort of availability, you can then jump to the Wi-Fi technology, which is really the secondary function to this. So if I show you my iPad over here, now this can be done on any tablet, any smartphone, any Android device. What we can do, we can wirelessly link this to the AERO. which we've showed before. As soon as we turn the Aero on, it sends out its own Wi-Fi signal. So it's a stable and reliable platform. There's nothing to interfere between this and this. It's like almost peer-to-peer. Now you can see in my Wi-Fi settings, I'm connected to the Aero already because I've already jumped on the secure network. I've already entered in the password. So then what I'm going to do, access my rekordbox mobile application, which gives you the full functionality of rekordbox but on your mobile device, so not just limited to the laptop anymore. And I'm going to hit load. Now in the previous video when we showed the Aero, we showed us wirelessly streaming music from the iPad to the Aero. I'm not going to do that now because this is a 32 gig iPad and it's not going to store the amount of music I can store on my 500 gig hard drive. What I'm going to do is show you how to browse through that hard drive on here with a massive visual display and with a QWERTY keyboard to actually search through that. So you can see, as soon as you connect any kind of USB device on the Aero, we get this illuminated USB icon down here. This would normally be greyed out if there was nothing connected onto the USB port. If I hit that, the whole app will spin around and show me all of the tracks, playlists, colour schemes, everything of my rekordbox information that's stored on that USB device. So at the minute, this is the internal library from my iPad, what you've seen here in playlists. If I hit this, it spins around, and now I've got access to everything that's on my hard drive. This is what I think is the key beneficial feature to using this this system. You don't have to have a laptop in the chain. No relying on the CPU of your computer to deal with the complex software programs like that you'd have to use in a MIDI controller system. No relying on the battery power of your laptop to stay charged while you're working, and no cluttering up your laptop with the stuff that you don't want to fill it with. This is a safe and stable system that's really going to make your life easier if you're doing any kind of home or mobile DJing. So let me jump in now, access some of the tracks that are on my hard drive, and we'll go for the commercial stuff because this is probably what's going to appeal. This is the kind of DJs this will appeal to. So here you can see enough commercial music that you might be requested to play. Something less cheesy, go for that. And then we've displayed with the decks of the Aero down here. So let's choose the right hand side, and you can see instantly that track has been loaded in. Now we're only using the Wi-Fi to navigate the hard drive. We're not actually wirelessly streaming now. This has been loaded up. This track has been loaded up from here. We've only used that to navigate it. So there we go, that's then good to play. Now, as before, if we were wirelessly streaming, this is the first system in the world that gives you a failsafe of a buffer. So if your device dies, or if the wireless were to go down, the music would not stop. But obviously that isn't applicable in this method because we are literally just playing from the USB device. We can also USB record on this. So even though we're playing music from the USB hard drive, if I hit master record, much like the DJM350, this will instantly start recording to the hard drive. And we can record our entire set. It's a standalone mixer. You can tell it looks a bit like a DJM350. So we can actually connect phono connections and lines, so turntables and CDJs into there. This record function will also record anything that's been run into from an external source as well. Now, for DJs who need to search, let's jump back to that. So if I scan to the top of this playlist, I'm still browsing through my hard drive now, but if I hit the QWERTY keyboard up here, I can actually use, in this instance, I've connected a Bluetooth keyboard. So I can actually use this to search through my entire library search for house, enter. There we go. For anyone who doesn't get on with touchscreen keyboards on their smartphone or their tablet, you know, any kind of Bluetooth keyboard device can be linked up and give you access to that as well. Now, the other method would be to scan through after hitting rekordbox on the Aero and choosing your iPad and navigate through here. Remembering that we're not seeing any tracks up on the iPad that are stored on the iPad. They're literally all stored on your hard drive. Now that is what I wanted to get across on this video. Very simple, very straightforward, extremely easy to use, and it's a bold statement, but it's a bulletproof platform. There's very little that can go wrong with this. In fact, there's a lot less that can go wrong with this than can ever go wrong when you've got a laptop in the chain. We've just updated the firmware on this unit, so Pioneer have just released firmware version 2 for the Aero, and it's incorporated a few new cool features that people have been requesting and have wanted featured on the Aero. So whilst we're playing a track on this deck, we can now load in our own samples. So prior to version 2 firmware, the Aero was limited to the internal samples on the sample trigger, or the scratch jog wheel. We had scratch samples. It was limited to the internal ones. We can now create our own ones, our own samples inside the rekordbox software, and load them into our effects buttons here, and it acts as the effects then act as a secondary function. So if I literally hold down the sample launch button, it will give us access to our sample banks. Up on the screen here, you can now see I've got the option to load internal samples up there, which will give us access to the original scratch, horn, siren and laser. Or we can jump to banks that I've created inside my rekordbox software. And there's a full tutorial on this up on the Pioneer DJ Global YouTube channel on how to export your samples from rekordbox. But if I load bank 1, I've then got access to samples that I've created. So opening it up and just allowing you to get a lot more creative. DJs who use jingles, you know, use their name, little vocal samples and like to punch them in and out of their set, you can now do this on the Aero as well. Anyone who's looking to affect their samples, so you used to be able to load a scratch sample or load a sample into the jog wheel, which it still does, leaving it there for you to scratch with. Those who want to apply an effect to that, it becomes a secondary function, so a shift function. So if I run a loop of this go sample, get that loop in. If I hit shift and then choose an effect, I can actually affect them as well, whether that's an echo. So the full functionality is still there, just giving you much more creative potential. One other feature that's been incorporated into the new firmware is the new auto cue function. So DJs who use rekordbox software to create hot cues and cue points, the Aero can now be set up so every time you load a track, it will instantly jump to the first cue point that you've set in rekordbox. This is really simple to set up. You just hold down the info button to access the utility menu, scan down to auto cue level and set it to memory instead of the default setting, which is a dB rating. We're going to jump to the memory setting up there. Now every track you load from now on, so if I choose a track that I know has cue points set on it, once that's loaded in, instead of playing from the start, it plays from 31 seconds. So you can set cue points for tracks where you know you want to mix from a certain point. So I know that's going to mix from the kick drum coming in. So there you go. What I think is the key function and the best feature of the AERO and the best method of using it, along with version 2 firmware update and the new features that we've incorporated onto the AERO. One thing I should also mention, any DJ who wants to use this system but really does want to use a laptop in the chain, laptops can also be synced up. So if you're not fond of using a touchscreen computer, touchscreen keyboard on your phone or your iPad or your smartphone or your Android device, or even Bluetooth connectivity with a keyboard, you can literally connect your, well, you can connect 4 devices. So you can connect your laptop up and hit the link icon in rekordbox, and then literally drag and drop and search for your tracks directly from there. Sweet. These are on demo in the DJKIT showroom in Newbury right now. This is the demo unit. Get yourselves down and have a play and check out the more detailed information online.